All right, well, we're a couple minutes in, so I think in the interest of time, we'll go ahead and get started. We might have some people coming in while we're presenting, but I'll just go ahead and kind of kick things off for us. So thanks everyone for coming today. And just so that you know, the session today is going to be recorded. So if you are someone who's a TCU student or a TCU administrator and you want to be able to share this info session with any potential applicants to the program, we're going to be able to share a recording of it later. And we'll have that posted to the AIHEC YouTube channel. And I'll make sure that everybody gets that link in case you want to review anything that was shared today, or if you want to pass this along to any students who might be interested. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. So today's info session, we're going to be sharing about the AIHEC UND Health Sciences Summer Institute, which essentially is an opportunity for currently enrolled and recently graduated TCU students to have an indigenized education in health sciences over a 4-week period. We offer this during the summertime as a way for students who might be interested in a health career, but maybe don't have any formal experience yet in that field, or maybe students who are in health sciences courses and want to dig a little bit deeper into how they can maybe pursue research or other opportunities in the field. So let me go ahead to my next slide here. Just a quick recap of the session today. So we're going to get a chance to introduce our UND representative. I'm from AIHEC, so I'll also briefly introduce myself in a moment. And we have some students from our 2024 program who are also going to join us and be available to answer questions. So really excited to have them today. I'll share a little bit more information about the program itself. What is our purpose behind offering this opportunity? What's the content of the curriculum, the format and schedule, a little bit about UND, the University of North Dakota, who is the host institution, and then some info on logistics like travel and expenses. I'll share a little bit too about our application process because we're currently accepting applicants for the program. And then we'll kind of save some time at the end for questions. We've got our students from last year's program here to share a little bit about their experience, both in the application stage and also when they were in the program. And just any questions that you all might have if you're interested in applying, or if you're looking to maybe share about this opportunity with fellow students. All right, so first, I'll just briefly introduce myself. My name is Izzy Burke. I'm a Health Initiatives Communications Coordinator at AIHEC, which is the American Indian Higher Education Consortium. I'm actually based out of Northern Virginia, so joining you from the East Coast time. And we partner with the University of North Dakota to host this program through our NARCH BIRCH grant, which is the purpose of that is to support the TCUs, the tribal colleges and universities, with building their capacities in the health sciences, specifically with trying to support more students and faculty being involved in doing research. So that's kind of the origin of this program here. And I'm going to turn it over to Rosalie from UND to just briefly introduce yourself as well.
Hello, everybody. Bonjour. My name is Rosalie Martin, Wabi Wabu, Water Lily Woman. I am the NARCH BIRCH program manager that she was talking about. And I work for the Indigenous Health Department. I'm also a full-time student for the PhD program of Indigenous Health. And I am on my second year of my program and coming on my final semester of coursework, and then I do comps, and then we are released out into the world to do our dissertation. So a lot of good things coming up. I'm so excited to be here today to talk about or answer any questions with the Summer Institute program. Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right, and now we get to turn it over to our student panelists today. We've got students from 3 different TCUs who participated in last year's program, and they're all very generous with their time to be able to come back today and kind of talk a bit about their experience. So I'll just turn it over to each of you to briefly introduce yourselves, and maybe we can start. Beulah, I know, is first on the list, so maybe I'll let you go first, Beulah.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I appreciate that. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, all good.
Okay, perfect. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Beulah. I do go to the Tohono O'odham Community College. It is my last semester here, so very excited At the moment, I did get a chance to take advantage of a unique opportunity last August. It was so much fun. I got to connect, network, meet so much other individuals from different types of locations, and it was just really good to like really, combine our ideas, perspectives, get to know each other, and how much potential we all have, and just looking into good leaders we'll be connecting with in the future. It was a lot of good experience as well on campus. There was a lot of definitely improvement still in process, but it was still nice to see that there was a staff and also a couple of locations that were really welcoming. And then it was just still, improvements in the future. But, there was a really good start to this really get a chance to connect with the current culture locally and just kind of adapt to um, I would say, structure they have at the university. So it was very different and unique. And I got to also meet so many great mentors in the future as well that I got to keep in contact with, and a lot of great professors and a lot of great resourceful information that does help me to today.
Mm.
Being that we had taken courses, you would imagine that, it's just informational, but really it did help me with stuff today because I do work now more with research and quantitative and qualitative data. So that really did help out. So it has really been a great experience for me, just as an opportunity for me to utilize in the future and something I can also use on my resume because this has definitely helped me to also be more part of the community outreach programs in the future I'll be working with, and just kind of be prepared to meet new individuals and just kind of learn from them as well and about yourself. So it was a really good experience to also
Mm.
meet new friendships there as well. That was super helpful for me, and I do appreciate that. I still keep connection with a lot of people, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And also thank you for Izzy as our host. She did help us out as well, and it was her first time as well that time. So it was really good to kind of see like someone that also was there the first time, the experience together. It was like super like a great experience for me. And I get to still utilize that experience today and just kind of carry it on from there also to kind of see where I'll be going forward with my direction in social work and really get a chance to pursue a higher continuum degree as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Beulah. And I think
Yeah.
it'd be great. We're going to definitely have more time at the end for Q&A, but it'd be wonderful to hear about how the experience has been helpful for you in the work that you plan to do afterwards. You mentioned social work, and I think that's important to note too, that this program is really not just for students who want to do maybe what you might first think of when you think of health sciences, which might be, chemistry, biology, or, practicing as a medical doctor, but it really covers a broad range of health field careers. That could be in health administration, could be in social work, any number of careers that are related to health. It's all kind of covered in this experience. So thank you for sharing that. I'm going to turn it over to Tristan next to introduce yourself.
Ani, my name is Tristan Fox Bouchard, and I am a student almost second year at Bay Mills Community College. Kind of building up a little bit what you said before is I actually came into this program as a business administration student. I applied to this and then I looked at my email. I was like, oh, I actually got in. Oh, great. Like you're saying, this is definitely a huge opportunity to explore different options because it covers just so many topics. I switched over to social sciences, like very big change there. Yeah, Beulah mostly said a lot of what I was going to say, so I can turn it over to Megan.
Sure, go ahead, Megan.
Awesome. Thank you guys. So anyways, I will introduce myself. I am Megan, and I will go ahead and go over my clans. She zilga an top hanishle look at the bashin honagati dashe do chishe dashanala. And I am a TCU student here at Diné College in Saley, Arizona. And I am a public health major. So I am also in my last semester. So I will be graduating this spring. And I just want to kind of recap and go over what Bila had said. I really believe that this program was very helpful. It not only helped me to see what like graduate level courses were, but it also helped to be introduced into the professors and staff at UND and having the opportunity to not only explore campus, but different Native American resources that are housed there on at UND, but also how we can keep in contact with these with the staff and our mentors to kind of resort back to them to use in our future. So today I still believe that this program has really helped me because it has pushed me to apply to graduate school. I kind of have an understanding of what graduate school might imply, especially with the coursework and even being introduced into what type of programs that UND has. And also just, I feel like this program was really nice because a lot of the participants and the students from the 2024 HSSI were Native students, and it was Native students from all over the country, or well, all over the US. So it was really good to network and also meet different tribes and different people from different tribes. So it was a really good experience for me. And I think one of the things that I really took away from this program was the panels and the little discussions that they had with like qualitative and quantitative research. And then I think one that really pushed me to do graduate school was the Indigenous Health perspectives that were incorporated in each of the panels that they had. And now for me, like I wanted to use that to go forward and have my graduate degree have an emphasis in Indigenous health. So, and even today, like I've been doing research now. So, both in the lab and outside of the lab. And that really does, well, as a public health student. So I am starting to go into more of the research aspect on that side. And what I learned here with the AIHEC and HSSI, it was really helpful in that way because I was able to apply what I use there to the research that I'll be doing in public health, but not only in public health, but outside of public health as well.
Awesome. That is so great to hear, Megan, about your graduate school plans. And I think hopefully that is another big purpose behind this program is not just to share information on the course topics themselves, but really just to share information about what kinds of education pathways might be available to you and how to go about pursuing them, because sometimes it can be, intimidating and confusing if you don't, maybe know where to start. If you're interested in research, interested in graduate school or beyond, but you just don't really know how to even begin that whole process. That's definitely something we try to talk about as well in the program so that we're really setting people up to explore, all kinds of different pathways depending on whatever your personal goals are and your personal life situation, the direction you want to go. There's so many ways to have a career in health. There's not just one way to do it. So that's something we really try to impress too. Awesome. Well, I'm going to take it away then for a quick kind of recap of, just telling you what exactly is this program about? How is it organized? And, what is our goal in doing this for students? What is the ultimate outcome that we hope for? So this opportunity is for, again, it's for tribal college and university students to support your academic and professional development in the health sciences field. And again, we try to do that through offering mentorship and educational resources on everything from the actual topics themselves. So that includes, things, how to conduct research from an indigenized perspective, even the hard skills of how to do quantitative research and qualitative research, explaining what those things are, because again, not everyone coming into the program has a background in health sciences, and that is totally fine. That is, if anything, we hope to reach students who maybe are at the early stages of exploring a future in health. So you don't need to have any experience coming in. You don't necessarily need to already be a health sciences expert. You don't have to even be majoring in the health sciences to participate. We really, offer things at an introductory level, but we also try to offer for students who want to dig deeper. We're going to share, resources and mentorship support to help you kind of dig deeper in the direction that you want to grow and learn in. So the way this program is organized, it's hosted jointly by my organization, AIHEC, and the University of North Dakota. It's hosted as a 4-week program where the first week is just virtual. So we offer through an online site called Praxis AI, we kind of give you some educational resources to get you started before the program takes place. And also kind of give you some onboarding information about what the experience will be like on the campus at UND. And then for the next 2 weeks of the program, you actually will travel to the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks. You'll get to stay on campus for 2 weeks and get instruction from the UND Indigenous Health faculty members on all of those course topics that I said. And also you'll get to do some activities, just in Grand Forks. You'll get to explore, you'll get to take part in some cultural activities as well. And then after those two weeks are done, we wrap it up with 1 more week of virtual. And that virtual week is kind of just like a program wrap up. We, give you some information on how to, move forward in your plans for pursuing, a health education or career, some goal setting type activities, and just some general wrap up on logistics for the program. So that's how it's organized. Our program is taking place this year in June 2025. The specific dates for the program are the virtual week starts on June 8th, and then from Sunday, June 15th through Saturday, June 28th, that is the on-site portion in Grand Forks, North Dakota. And then the final week, starting June 29th, that'll be the last virtual week of the program. And here I thought I would just share, a little bit more detail. What kinds of things are you actually going to learn in the program? What's in the curriculum for the 2 weeks that you're in Grand Forks? So just to kind of list off some of the course titles, that we had, we talked about community-based participatory research, which is basically, how do we conduct research that is involving community members? Specifically, if you want to do research that is about and for tribal communities, then how do you go about that process? How do you make sure that your research is inclusive of the people who you want to include in a study, for example, or who you want to work with on the research question you have? We also talked about Indigenous data sovereignty, so making sure that we are protecting people's personal information, especially given that, historically there have been cases of Indigenous communities having their data being appropriated without their consent. How do we make sure that we are being, responsible with how we handle people's data when we're doing research? We also talked about Indigenous health principles, navigating imposter syndrome and prioritizing self-care as a student in health sciences, and even some more kind of like hard sciences topics, like how do we visualize data when we want to make a presentation at a conference, or how do you create an evaluation for your research so that you're reflecting on the work that you did and you're able to share that with an audience of fellow students and researchers in health sciences. So those are some of the topics that we covered last year, and we expect to have those again this year. All of those courses are taught by faculty members from UND's Indigenous Health faculty, and they're all incredibly wonderful people who I've now had the chance to meet them in person through last year's program. They're so excited to be working with TCU students and to bring you guys onto the campus at UND and to show you around, and really serve as mentors to you during those 2 weeks on the ground, but also they're always there as a resource in the future, to reach out to email. They're very, very, happy to be a part of this program and just be supporting TCU students. So that's one of the big highlights, I think, is really just getting to have that time face-to-face with faculty members at UND who are so invested in this kind of work. All right, and I think I already shared the program dates here, but this is just on paper, so you can kind of see, again, June 9th to 13th is the first introductory week online, and then June 16 to 27. It says 16 to 27 here, but including the travel dates, we would have students fly into Grand Forks on Sunday, June 15th, and then fly out on Saturday, June 28th. So you're actually on campus for a full 2 weeks, and we have our classes take place from Monday through Friday. And then we schedule some weekend activities that are optional for students who want to maybe explore Grand Forks a little bit or take advantage of just some of the fun things to do there in the area. And then June 30th to July 4th would be the final online week when we would wrap up our activities. And I thought I would just give a little chance, Rosalie, if you did want to hop in and share anything about what do you think, makes UND special, and, what are some of the things about being on campus that are going to be, really beneficial to students participating in the program?
Yeah, sure. So some of the things that we brought during that time of the institution, we brought other programs in. Like was mentioned before, when we think about research and we think about the medical field, there's more to it, and then there's like specific areas, right? So we brought in the RAIN program, which is for nursing, specifically for Native Americans that are going into the nursing program, which is a really good support system. And then we also brought in InMed, which is Indians into Medicine. Again, that is a huge umbrella for a lot of different science field degrees, not just specifically for MD, but like for PT, OT, nutrition, social work, and the list goes on. There's quite a few different programs that fall under that umbrella as well, and they're very supportive of the students that are choosing to go within the medical or public health field. And then I think also, and then we brought we have an Indigenous Center on campus too, which is a big support system. And that's for anybody and everybody that is Indigenous and going to school at UND. So that's like kind of home base for everybody, where everybody will go if they need help with just about anything. It's Keith Melter that runs it. He's the director program of the Indigenous Health. And it's just a really good support system for any Indigenous, students that are going to school. So you could help, like I said, you could help with anything from like filling out your FAFSA to helping with advising too. I know, I mean, from my experience when I was in my undergraduate, he helped a lot with my advising. Just as I was going through school, I was kind of all over the place, like, which is normal, by the way, people, when you get to the UND level, or I'm sorry, the university level, you kind of go through a change sometimes, and that's okay. But yeah, so he does a lot of that. He does a lot of support. There's they also have like emergency assistance. They have a lot of things there that coming into that area, if you need help with just about anything, he's the guy that gets you that information. What else? I think those are the only programs that we brought on, but I was also thinking too, the last time we did this, we were thinking about bringing in the law part, the Indians into law, and I forgot what their acronym is, but also bringing them in from the political policy part too is really important and is becoming a big thing within public health and policy. So I know I've met a few students within the last year that are interested in that area, and also doing like the Masters of Public Health and doing law at the same time. So that might be something we could think about doing maybe this year. I guess I forgot to bring it up in our meeting, but yeah, so we have a ton of support system. And one thing I recommended to the students last year is when you're going out to, when you're thinking about leaving tribal college, to make sure that you visit as much as you can. I know it can be hard sometimes financially to go visit sites at universities, different universities, but if you can, definitely do your research and look into different universities that have these type of support systems. And a lot of these programs on campus that we have, even though if you're not under their umbrella, they definitely still will help, because we're just like a little family on campus. All 500 and some of us that are students, and then plus the faculty and staff that are part of the Indigenous Health community. So yeah, and so yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to I think
I
I
think
covered all of
that
them.
covers a lot. Yeah. And really just the resources that you mentioned, how UND really has a strong support network for Indigenous students, especially I think within the Indigenous Health department in particular. The faculty are so great, and so just really eager to be that support system and to be that person, sometimes all it takes is one really good mentor to really change the direction, of your whole studies or your future goals, So I found, from talking to them that they're really great, positive role models like that. And I think, this experience, even though you're only on the campus for 2 weeks, I think, from our students last year, and you can speak to that yourselves, but I think you do really get a lot from just getting to interact with the faculty in person.
Also, too, I forgot to mention, it just dawned on me is that we have a lot of organizations too as well,
Mhm.
that support Native students. So we have ACEs on campus. We have UNDIA, which is part of our powwow, because we do a powwow every spring. And we used to do like a Native American week following the powwow, but as you know, like funds kind of cut back on some of that fun stuff. So, but we try to still do different events a few days before the powwow.
Mhm.
And then the Indigenous Health Department, the students, the PhD students, we started an organization as well, and it's Indigenous Research Scholars organization. So that's another one. Again, you don't have to be within the program to be a part of these organizations. You are within the medical health or like a science background. You could be from any side of the degrees or fields or whatever. Everybody's welcome in them. And like the students mentioned, it's really important to mention and focus on the fact that, like, this isn't just lab research. This is in the community research, which is new with Indian country, and that's the whole purpose of the Indigenous Health the program itself, is so we can build our own and grow our own, and see from our Indigenous lens when we're in the community doing this research, which is extremely important, especially right now with everything that's going on. It's really important. So
Mhm. Awesome. Well, thank you for that. And
yes.
next, I'll just kind of recap some of the logistics for the program, how all of this works, from that end. For our students who are enrolled in the program, AIHEC fully covers the cost of your travel to and from the program. So when you're traveling from your home to Grand Forks, North Dakota for the 2 weeks, the airfare, the cost of your housing when you're on campus for the 2 weeks, meals during the 2 weeks, and for costs that might be associated with your travel, so maybe like Uber to and from the airport, that is all covered in the program costs. And the way that we coordinate that is your TCU, if you're a currently enrolled TCU student, is responsible for purchasing your airfare costs, the big cost up front, and then they are reimbursed by AIHEC after the program concludes. So if you're a currently enrolled student, that's how the process works. We know that there might be 1 or 2 students in our group who are recently graduated. And as long as you are within 1 year from when you graduated from your TCU, you are still eligible to participate. It's just a slightly different process for a student in that kind of boat because, you're no longer enrolled at your TCU. So we coordinate with you directly to reimburse you for the travel expenses that you need to get to and from the program. But we also offer a student allowance to those who complete the program. So if you complete all of your activities from the virtual weeks of the program and you fully participate in the 2 weeks in Grand Forks at the University of North Dakota and are fully participating and completing your assignments and engaged in the activities, then you're eligible for a student allowance after you finish the program. And that's just kind of something that we offer to offset some of the other costs, that are the hidden costs of participating. So, maybe, you're missing out on 4 weeks working at your job during this program, or really maybe it's 2 weeks because the virtual part of it is pretty manageable to do, in your outside time, as in, we typically don't have more than a couple hours of activities per day during the virtual week. So just to kind of share that up front, you might not need to worry about those 2 weeks as much, but we definitely understand, even 2 weeks out of your life can be, sometimes that can be a pretty big lift, to try to do. So we offer that student allowance to try to cover some of the other hidden costs, that come with taking 2 weeks off to participate on the ground. And for the application process, our applications are open right now, and you'll see you can use the QR code on your screen here, but I know it's a little bit small, so I'm also going to just copy paste the link in our chat here, so that way, if you want to open that up, you can see it in your web browser. But the application is fairly straightforward and pretty simple. Really, we just ask for a little bit of information about, you know, where you're currently enrolled as a student, so which TCU, and we do ask that you share proof of your enrollment. That could be something like a copy of your transcript. Doesn't even have to be an official copy, but as long as that copy has your name, the name of your TCU, that it has the date so that we know that it's current and up to date. That's enough to be able to provide proof of enrollment. Also, we've had students share other kinds of documents where maybe it's could be a printed, screenshot of your class enrollment page, online. As long as it has that key information, your name, your school, and that it's dated for the current semester so that we know you're currently enrolled, then that generally is enough for our proof of enrollment. So really, you'll submit that. You'll share a brief statement about why you're interested in the program, and really that can be, just why are you personally interested in this program? If health sciences are something that you're exploring right now and want to learn more about, we just want to know a little bit more about you as a person and why this program, it could be helpful for your future career goals or your future education goals. And other than that, it's a fairly straightforward application, but if you have questions about it or need assistance while working on it, I am a good person to reach out to about that. Me and Maggie Grandin at AIHEC are kind of the people who will be fielding those applications and reviewing them. So I'm also going to put my email down in the chat here. So if you have questions about the application, you can definitely email me about that, and I'll be able to help answer any more specific questions you have. All right, and I think with that, we're going to kind of open it up now to questions for our student panelists who are here today. We definitely would love to hear more about, your own experience in the program, or maybe even what got you interested in the first place. So maybe I'll stop screen sharing so we can all kind of see each other while we're talking. But if anyone has any questions off the bat, you can raise your hand using the raise the hand button in Zoom, or put it in the chat if you'd rather just have your question typed out. Also, I have a couple questions prepared, so I might kick us off with one if no one has any immediate questions right now. All right, I think I'll start with one then. So maybe Tristan, I'm going to start with you for this one, because I think it's really interesting given that you were in a different major before you started the program. So I'm curious, what actually caught your interest about the HSSI program, or what kind of pushed you to submit an application in the first place?
Well, I was enjoying my major as business administration, but I feel like I was still exploring other avenues in that aspect, because I picked business administration because I was like, oh, well, that's like pretty vague because it can go into so many different sectors and stuff. So I got the email actually from my school, from Bay Mills, sent the email, the application. I did it. I was like, that sounds really interesting, health sciences. And what do you know? It actually changed.
Awesome. Yeah, and we our schools, I think, are helping to push out info on this right now too. But it's also great to hear that, even though you weren't in a health major, that you still found the information and, thought that it'd be interesting to try. And it's always really great to hear when people are coming in from a totally different major, totally different area of study, but want to kind of learn more about how health could even work together with, because if you were previously in business administration, I think there's still a lot of overlap between, in the health administration field, or even if you were to work for a nonprofit working in health advocacy, lots of overlap still.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, maybe I'll have a different question for Megan next. How did you see the program fitting into your education and career goals? And maybe also, did your goals change after the program, or, did you kind of reassess, how you wanted to pursue your goals after learning things from the HSSI program?
Yes, definitely. I think my goals have definitely changed. At first, I mean, I'm still gonna go into graduate school for my public health, but I always thought it was just one big, broad public health program within graduate school. But after kind of diving on the deeper end into graduate school at UND and the programs that they shared, especially with like RAIN and InMed, for a while there, I actually did start thinking about medical school. So, but for now, I am still wanting to pursue my graduate degree within public health, but with an emphasis on Indigenous health, only because there at UND, they did talk about the Indigenous data sovereignty. They had topics on community participatory based research. So that was really helpful, especially with the classes that I'm taking here at Diné College in Saline, Arizona. We have finally reached that part of doing a practicum, or at least for me, I'm doing my practicum now. So it's part of my capstone for graduation or to graduate. So we're doing a lot of research now and also kind of having that background on Indigenous health research methods as well. That was very helpful because last semester I actually took an Indigenous health research methods class, and
Wow.
man, it helped. And it really, the research paper that I had to do, it was based around healing and using prayers within the Navajo tribe to help with like depression and um yeah, depression and just overall healing, holistic healing. So that was very helpful. And so now the topics that we did talk about at UND, they all fit within one of the classes that I took, or if it didn't, then at least I had some basic knowledge and foundational knowledge from those topic discussions that we had, and I was able to apply it and have a better understanding within the classes that I was taking. So to me, it was really helpful. So now, with the Indigenous research methods that was talked over at UND through the program, now I want to have an emphasis, or that's what I want to kind of have that avenue within public health, is to have a more better focus on Indigenous health research methods.
Wow, that's awesome to hear. It really seemed to align really well with your own
Yeah.
goals. So that is so cool to hear. Yeah. And okay, maybe we'll go to Beulah next. Beulah, was there a particular course that you took during the 2 weeks on campus that really left an impact on you, or maybe which topics were most interesting to you while you were in that program?
Oh, that's a great question, Izzy. I know there was a lot of courses we had taken. I think as far as the first one, I would say the grants course. That was really,
Proposal grant
yeah,
writing. Yeah.
yeah, grant writing. Yeah, I think that was really good to see, just because lately I've been working with a lot of individuals that have been looking into grant writing, especially for programs that are seeking in the community involvement back home. My sister just started working with the Navajo Technical University as an instructor for welding. And she's like asked about grant writing, and I'm like, okay. And then my aunt has her master's as well in public health, and she's doing grant writing as well for a program she's looking to really help out. So I'm like, okay, besides just family, this is something I can use in the field, and just more information and how really productive and resourceful it can be. Especially working with communities that you'll be working with, or the city level, whatever level I'll be working with, especially with social work. It's like an open profession when it comes to medical, or agencies, or the type of environment to be working with, and if you're going to be networking at a high level. And I thought that was really good to understand and recognize, because I feel like there is a lot of opportunities there too, and it's just best to know like the system as far as like how it's structured, how it is needed, and how it can happen, and just to make sure you need that. So that was really good to see that, that was really helpful for me as well, and I did get a chance to learn more about it. And now that come to where now I'm around that environment a little bit more when it comes to grant writing.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And the grant writing course, I think that's a really great one too, because That's something that really is a skill you can apply outside of even just health sciences, but
Yeah.
in general, you know, having strong
Yeah.
writing skills. And grant writing a lot of the time is about just knowing how to write for a particular reader. You know, what does this reader who I'm maybe requesting my funding to do research from, you know, why are they interested in my work? And how can I explain it in a way where it's going to be appealing to them to want to fund my project, right? So think that's a great skill even outside of doing research, just to be able to have that ability. It's a really useful skill in a lot of ways in your career. Awesome. All right. Well, maybe to kind of go in a different direction, I might ask the three of you to share, you know, outside of the academic parts of the program, you know, what was another experience you had while you were in Grand Forks that was maybe just a good experience for you, or something that was eye-opening just about being there in person, maybe any of the cultural activities we did, or even just, you know, getting to spend time with fellow students in the program. So I'll just leave it. Whoever wants to jump in first, you can go ahead.
You want to go first?
Go for it, Tristan.
Well, regarding the first of all, that is the farthest west I've actually ever been. I have
Wow, yeah.
a
Yeah.
very incredibly different climate for me. I'm from Michigan, and I'm mostly around the Midwest. I've been to the East Coast a little bit, but I've never been that far. And it was just incredible to see. Culturally speaking, I I just enjoy how there's just so many different Indigenous people coming from all different places meeting in one place. And so I've met a lot of my friends are Dene now because I had some Dene friends before, but just meeting more and more people and their perspective of their own culture and talking more about that outside of the academic portions of this was really incredible for me. So it was really eye-opening, different perspectives of what they believe is, you know, like we're going back to the Indigenous lens part of looking at public health. So I really enjoyed that part, is just getting to be able to connect with other people from different cultures.
Yeah. I think last year we had students from 8 different TCUs participate. So that is, you know, like you said, that's a huge benefit as well. Is just getting to meet and make friendships across, you know, across the country that you get to keep in touch with after the program.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Megan, I think, did you want to jump in too?
Yeah. So I whole 100% agree with Tristan. It was really nice to see a lot of people from different backgrounds and from different tribes, from different parts of the US. And it was really eye-opening to see, and it was really comforting to know that everybody was there for kind of like the same thing, to help and come back to our community to find ways and to pick up the knowledge that we were presented with, to come back and bring that back to our own communities in the way that we understand it. So it was really nice. And it was really nice to know that we all came together and we were all working together to meet one goal. Even though we were from different tribes, we had this one goal that we were trying to reach. And even though we were from different backgrounds, we understood each other. And it was really nice to come together to know that we were there to support one another, that we were helping one another. And we were very encouraging, and we motivated each other to keep going. And I think that's the reason why we have built a lot of these like friendships and relationships with one another, not only within the students, but also the staff, and how we can come back and use them as resources within our future. And yeah, and for me, same thing like as Tristan. I'm from Arizona, very dry heat. Yeah, so going to North Dakota, oh my gosh, it was really different, but I loved it there. It's very green. It was really nice. The weather was perfect. And what I really liked about the campus there too was the Indigenous Native American Culture Center that they had, and the resources that they had. Because here on, even though I'm at a TCU and it's Navajo based, we do have some resources, but I really like the way that UND has their resources set out there, and where it feels comforting. And especially with Keith being there, he made it feel even more welcoming. And it was really nice just to get along with everybody and understand that everybody's there to support you and you have that support system going forward.
That's so good to hear. Beulah, do you want to jump in with anything from your experience?
Actually, yes. One thing I had a chance to recognize when I was at UND is like a lot of us were not sure which direction we're going to move forward with our
Mhm.
education. And this experience really helped us open our eyes from a different perspective at a high level of how much potential we actually have in ourselves and how far we can reach, and not to ever feel limited. And that was really good to see because when I got a chance to connect with so much powerful individuals, I got to see so much of our future leaders in the future in our Indigenous communities, in the city or wherever they reside. And that was really something um, good to reflect on for me because, some people come from limited resources or they feel like they don't have options, and this was really a good eye opener to explore that at the end of the day you have a team, you have friendships, you have a network, you have like support available within your current school or organization or TCU you're working with, and they do help you reach that far, and it is going to be up to you. And it just shows what it can look like if you want to aim higher. And I thought that was good to see, especially like meeting so much individuals. It's just kind of like circling back to what Megan said, we all have that one goal where we all want to succeed. And, just kind of like see what we can do. Because sometimes when we read things or when we watch things, it's not really that welcoming or really that,
Mm.
you know, attentive to catch our interest, but when we're there and we see it in campus, it's like a different level. If it's a
Mhm.
different experience, it's more of like an actual, okay, besides just a campus, these are the courses they provide, the opportunities they have. If it's not going to be here, it can be elsewhere, but just keep in mind that, if you're not sure what direction you want to go, just know that you have many, and that to
Mhm.
kind of keep that concept that, to not limit yourself, but just be open to all opportunities. And at that time, whatever you do decide to move forward with, will be pretty much really with what you choose in the future. So it was really
Mhm.
good experience for me, and along with really getting a chance to connect with a lot of great individuals, and also the professors and the staff as well on campus, and even at the cafeteria, we didn't get treated differently, which was pretty cool. And it was just really nice to see everyone really getting a chance to make us feel welcomed and appreciative for just touring their campus. Even if it was like the front desk, I don't know how many pins I have now, but it was really nice to see that. And it was really good to, still have that opportunity. So it was pretty
Mm.
cool.
That's great to hear. And yes, we did spend a lot of time in that cafeteria. A lot of trips back and forth. Awesome. Well, we've got about 10 minutes, but I just wanted to, open it up if any of our attendees have questions they want to ask. You're totally welcome to jump in, or if you want to type something in the chat. Also, if you feel more comfortable following up over email after we finish up today, you can definitely reach out to me over email if you want to, even if you want to maybe have a question for one of our students. I can certainly forward that question along and make sure that it gets answered for you. But if we don't have any other questions, I might kind of wrap things up with just one more question to each of our students today, which is if you could go back in time or tell your past self before you went on the program one piece of advice to kind of help you make the most of that experience, what's that piece of advice that you would give yourself, or give to a student who is in your shoes, maybe about to start this program but doesn't know what to expect?
For me, I would say be open-minded, um, give it a try. Although it may be something new and you don't know where it may lead, how it may, like serve you, or if it's the right decision, I'd say just be open to the opportunity, be open-minded. Um, it will be helpful, and somewhere along the way within either your career or your life, you will need, whatever you take away from the program, you will use it
Mm.
somewhere along the way, because I have, and it's been a great experience. And even if you feel like in the beginning, before you meet or before you go in person for the program, you may feel, like afraid, you don't know, like You might be alone, you might feel alone, you might be scared. The feelings will be there, but once you get there in person, that whole perspective change, and people are always going to be there to be supportive, and people are in the same, like the same shoes as you, of like being scared, don't know what to do, don't know how to take it, but we're all in the same boat. We're all learning together, and it's okay. It'll be okay. And you will definitely get something out of it that you will not regret. And I just say be open-minded and be open to the opportunity.
That's great advice. Tristan or Beulah, do you want to hop in with yours?
You wanna-
Um,
Oh, sorry.
Beulah, go ahead. We'll let you go first this time.
okay. Oh, no worries. For this one, I would say, to be honest, be yourself, be proactive,
Mhm.
definitely stand out, ask questions, and make the best of it. What I had learned, like I feel like there would have been more opportunities if we all got a chance to connect a little bit better and talk more. I think that'd be a good start to make everyone more comfortable, when it comes to introducing yourself. And just
Mhm.
keep in mind, just be yourself. We all come from different backgrounds. We're still in progress. Some couple of us are still on the way. But we're not gonna be all at the same level. So just keep in mind, you're probably gonna see someone there that's a little bit higher and lower than you, but don't forget who you are and what you're going to school for, and kind of brand that when you're there as well, because you get the chance to really be yourself when you go to a new type of city. You get to definitely represent your own type of TCU, and just
Mhm.
respect each other as well. We're all different and unique in our own ways, and that which really makes the best of coming together with the different types of students as well from different areas. If we get a chance to also learn from them, it's a really good opportunity for you as well to add
Mhm.
to your learning bucket or to your resume. Like I got to connect with other tribes or other individuals from unique communities that are willing to make a change as well. And I got to meet them in person. So I'll keep a lookout for a future leader. So it's really good to use as well as that, you know, mindset. But yeah, just to be yourself is what I pretty much
That's
want to share
great.
on that one.
Mhm.
Awesome. All right, Tristan, you'll be our last one.
So basically what Megan said was being open to opportunities and, being a business administration, I was just like
Mhm.
thinking to myself, like, do I even have a place in health
Mhm.
sciences? Like, I'm not entirely sure, but, I applied anyway and just made the
Mhm.
push to do it. And I do not regret a single thing. I really think
Mhm.
that being open to opportunities and taking what you can and doing what you can will really benefit you in the future, because it gave me an entire career and educational change in my life, and I'm like thriving in what I am doing now. And what it also gave me is the information that I learned from experiences like this, you will carry with you. Even if you're thinking to yourself you're not going to use it, or maybe you're not sure when or how or why, you will be able to use that information.
Mhm.
What I learned from this experience is I am looking at more, exploratory options of internships,
Mhm.
resume building, other things like that. Like the information that I took from this program, I am now using it to apply to other internships that are in regards to what I want to go forward in as a career path. So, a whole year later, I'm like, oh my,
Mhm.
I can reference back to this one program that I was in, and it is just incredibly beneficial. So I
Mhm.
really think that a program like this will definitely kickstart you into more things in
Mhm.
greater, higher levels of education and experience.
That is so wonderful to hear. Thank you, Tristan.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we can, if we don't have any other questions from our attendees, we can wrap it up here for today. But again, if you have follow-up questions about the HSSI program, about how to apply, please do reach out to me over email. I'm going to put it here in the chat one more time if you want to grab that before we close out today. But thank you again for your time. Thank you so much to Tristan, Megan, and Beulah for taking the time to be with us today and sharing your experiences. It is so, so wonderful to hear that it was an overall positive experience for you, and that you've been able to grow in so many new ways as a result of that. And that's all we can really hope for our participants, is that it has that kind of impact. So thank you so much, everyone. We'll close it out here, but hoping to keep in touch, and thank you so much for your time.